Okay. Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you may be. Greetings, welcome. Today, I wanted to do a live stream. I'm going to attempt to do a live stream every either Wednesday or Thursday. I've, back in the US and been readjusting to my new schedule. So I feel like I found the rhythm that I've needed to, create the time and space for the things that I like to do, which is, part of it is doing these, and I'm going to try to do these weekly to check in. I missed the days of being in Panama where we were, especially when we were doing our fast, our winter solstice fast, and I was checking in every couple of days. It was definitely divine. But now we're here, and I just wanted to come on really quick. Today, I want to talk about sensitivity and how that relates to our health. And then I also want to talk about what's going on with me. And, we could take some questions and whatever the conversation and in terms of the question may go, then let's do it. Let's go for it. So, yes. So let's begin by talking about sensitivity. This concept was introduced to me through a book, and this is on. I don't think I have a copy of the book so I can show you, but I do have it. I have a copy of my book. You hold it to the light, Paradise Health. Yes, I wrote this book I started writing this book in 2006, published it in 2012. And one of the books that was really, really inspirational for me in even writing this book was Man's Higher Consciousness by Hilton Hotima. So if that's not a part of your library, I suggest you get that book. Hilton Hotima, first and foremost, he was he's an ancestor, but his published works, I have a lot of his books. Right behind me here. I mean, this is one, The Mysterious Sphinx. This is Glorious Resurrection, Son of Perfection. You see the body and how this is the astrological wheel. Head being Aries, neck Taurus, and it goes all the way down to the feet, Pisces. So he was deep. And so one of my favorites, though, he's probably got he's got a bunch of other books talking about everything from metaphysics, health. That was his two areas. And but Man's Higher Consciousness was definitely probably his signature work. But in that book, it talked about sensitivity. And ever since then, that concept has been really ingrained in my philosophy, in my spirit, because when we really discuss sensitivity, basically, the more sensitive we are, the healthier we are. You can imagine if the simple example of, being able to really be sensitive to, like, say, for example, secondhand smoke. Who's healthier? The person who, because when we look at getting sick or having a health crisis, the person that's usually very toxic can say, oh, I never get sick. But that doesn't mean that that person is healthy just because they never get sick. Because I can make a very good case that the person that is always getting sick is much healthier than the person that says, oh, I never get sick. So, so, um, so again, with that concept in mind, we as health seekers, we want to raise our sensitivity, and not only raise our sensitivity, but to continue to uh, establish it, maintain it, and as we continue to raise it, maintain it, establish it, continue to maintain it, it becomes just that, a self maintenance. When we talk about sensitivity, we're talking about self maintenance. We want to keep our sensitivity high, and we can even like translate this sensitivity over to spirituality. When we talk about, because when we think about things like meditation and intuition, and these things are all forms of sensitivity. So just like, again, if you're eating, I mean, essentially when we go into fast, when we start fasting and make fasting a lifestyle practice, that's probably the number one way we start raising and establishing a sensitivity. Because it's one thing to go into fast, you go into a fast, and then you come out of the fast and you're doing the same thing that you were doing before you fasted. See, that's not really raising and establishing your sensitivity. You're going to raise your sensitivity, especially if you've done a longer fast. I mean, if you're doing 3 days, but we're talking about at least 7, 14, 21 days. Especially when we start talking about 20 days, 21 days or longer. Now we're starting to, create some change. We're starting to raise sensitivity to the level where when we come off the fast, we obviously can't go right back into food, even if our body is saying, oh, I'm hungry and I want to eat this. There's going to be difficulty, or there's going to be challenges. Your palate is going to be sensitive. All of your throat, all of your whole digestion is going to be sensitive. This is a good thing. So fasting. Obviously, when we talked about when we talk about breaking the fast, now we really want to, because if you join me in December when we're doing the fast, now we're into February, and so what are we doing? How are we eating? What are we having for dinner tonight? I mean, these are all like the questions, when we start really talking about really being healthy. Yes, it's great. Okay, you did the 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Now it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing February 10th, 2022? Just a regular day. Because it's on days like this, when nobody's watching, you're just doing your thing, and it's like, you're feeling okay. You may not be feeling sick and this and that, because a lot of times, again, we get reminded when we start having health crises. We say, oh, I know where I need to go back to. I know I need to get back to what I was doing, last year or 3 years ago, or whenever it was, or 3 weeks ago. So really, and that's why I want to keep doing these, even these live check-ins, weekly check-ins. If you're following my content, my job is to keep you inspired, to keep you keeping on, doing what you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And, in large part, when we start thinking about food. So, all right. So yeah, when we start thinking about food, it's like, okay, what are we eating? Like today, actually, I was on fluid. I'm not gonna get into that, but I was on fluid pretty much for the whole day. I was out running my errands, doing my shopping, and I didn't have anything solid until maybe just an hour ago. And what did I have? I had about 6 grapefruits. Yes, that is being here on the East Coast, the Florida citrus is where it's at. I pretty much made a meal out of grapefruit. I ate about 6 or 7 grapefruits. So good, so delicious. Just devoured them. Delicious. And then I had 2 persimmons. I got some ripe persimmons, and I had a black sapote. So that's all I've had. I'm planning on having some dinner later. I'll probably do some kind of kale or some kind of salad, avocado, and then that's going to be it, for the day. There are some days when that's my full regimen eating day. Now, when I do the salad, I'll normally, before I go to bed, I'll have a couple of juices. I'll have at least 32 ounces of juices before I go to bed. So that's my typical eating rhythm day. I don't know how many calories that is, but I'm not so much into the counting of calories. But then there are days when I call, like, it's not necessarily a fasting day, but it's a light day where I pretty much just keep it fruits. So just like I explained, the grapefruits, like right now, again, citrus is in season. So I'm heavy on the citrus. I like to really try to key in on what I know what's in season right now. I'm not doing watermelons. Um, I'm pretty much keyed in on citrus fruits right now. I mean, these grapefruits are loaded with seeds. I also have some oranges. So I've been making citrus juice for those who, local, getting my juice cleanse. I actually incorporated that within the fast because I've not been able to get coconuts. I actually got some coconuts today, but it's another story. But yeah, I've been doing the citrus juice, and that's something new with my cleanse. So because that's like the best thing to start your day. So that's just an example. Because again, as we start to get into different types of foods, even on this raw food diet. The raw food diet, we can really get complex, and it's okay, but we want to keep it as light as possible, and do that every so often. I'm not one of those that like says, oh, no salt, no oils, no spices. I think there's a place for that. But we gotta keep it on a minimum. We gotta keep that checked so that we are basically eating our water. We're eating foods that are high in water, 80-90% water, and those largely are our fruits. So yes, so in that way, we're really establishing a high level, a high sensitive nature, and we're able to stay on that rhythm and go into fast if we need to. You know, whenever we need to go into fast, it's just part of, because that's the other thing too, is that like for me, pretty much on a I mean, I don't stay on this structure, but pretty much Monday through Friday, like that rhythm where I'm doing like a salad for dinner. I'm doing fruits pretty much all day. That's what I'm doing Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, especially Sunday. Saturdays, sometimes I'm like having a salad, but definitely Sundays. Sundays is my day for sure. Like for years, I can't, even if I wanted to change it, I just have no appetite on Sunday. And at the very most, I'm having fruit. So I'm pretty much just keeping it light. I'm pretty much dry for half of the day. And then, you know, when I start, you know, I'll do my urine, and then I'll do, if I have coconut water, I do coconut water. I may have a piece of fruit, and then that's it. I'm doing that every Sunday without fail. And so we really, all of you, if there's anything you take away from this, establish a day. Establish one day of the week where that is your day. You shut it down. Like your digestion can count on the fact that today is my rest day. And if that to me is probably one of my most powerful sensitive giving habits, is establishing that day of the week. Now Sunday may be your day, it may be Wednesday. Typically, you know, and there's a video I have, and I thought about updating it, that, you know, I get into the astrology, and obviously on the weekend, you know, I feel like Saturday and Sunday, it's probably for most people would be a good day to have, especially Saturday, because Saturday is Saturn's day, and Saturn, you know, energetically, spiritually, is about restriction, is about discipline, is about structure, and what, basically fasting. You know, fasting is I would say definitely Saturnal. Certainly other energies could be a part of fasting. I'm not going to give it all to Saturn, but, and then, you know, you look at it, Saturn is on a weekend where most people are not working. So, you know, Sunday's been my day. Saturday could be your day. You know, obviously, you know, consulting with an astrologer, if you want to do that, they can sort of key in and see what day could be your day for you. Done with it chimed in and said that Friday for me, hey, Friday probably for most people is not their day. Why? Because that's Venus's day, and Venus likes to indulge. But Friday is you know, Friday is an excellent day. You know, so yes. So, you know, establish that day. It's a powerful practice. And but typically, you know, have that day, but then also have a possible second day, you know, because as you establish that day, you know, and that day could be a consecutive day, or it could be, like for me, it could be Sunday, but then on Wednesday, or maybe even like even for me today is Thursday, or Jupiter's day. You know, I had my fruit, and I mean, I could not eat today. Like, I'm good. I had enough grapefruit. I had my persimmon, and I mean, I'm good. I mean, it would be at this point more or less entertainment, you know. So you got to ask yourself, like, okay, am I eating to entertain, or am I like legitimately hungry? And that's one of the battles, you know, that we have, you know, just as human beings, is, you know, trying to ascend and become healthier, and it's not about like denying oneself, but it's like, it's one thing to eat like to your content, like your body's content, but then in terms of your that indulgent factor, that factor. Because again, when we think about even that's a Venusian Venus thing. So fasting on Friday could be just the remedy. We fast on certain days, just to strengthen that planetary aspect within ourselves. All of the star energies are within us. We all have a sun, moon, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, etc. energy within us. And a lot of times fasting on those particular days, like for example, a Friday, is helping you to conquer maybe those Venusian demons that you may have, right? Because a lot of our demons are maybe necessarily connected to a star like Venus. Okay, so because again, Venus is about pleasure. A lot of us may have challenges with relationships. If that's you, again, fasting on a Friday could be just what you need. Restless Native, shout out to you. You said emotional eating can kill. That's facts. Most of the eating that we do as humans, I mean, most of it is emotional, and most of it is we're most people. It's like in our society, it's become okay to be a food drunkard. We talk about when we look at recreational drugs or drugs that are because it's really all of it. What most people consume is drugs. So when we talk about alcohol or smoking and these kinds of things, I mean, there could be a social stigma. Even though alcohol is socially accepted, is what a lot of people do when they go out and this kind of thing, so it's socially accepted. But food is like, oh, you need food to eat and survive. But most people overeat. They're drunk off food. I mean, you're talking about, again, the whole topic of discussion today is about sensitivity. All right. So you're talking about truly desensitizing yourself. When you eat to your full, that's a sin. That is just a straight sin. I'm not talking biblical. That is just a sin of nature. And it may be biblical too. And so, we're really trying to, we talk about raising our sensitivity, establishing a sensitivity. We're talking about really getting control. I say that, children can get away with eating, and even children not necessarily can get away with it. They can get away with it in a sense that they may not get sick as often as adults do. And I'm not saying that children should even eat this way, but most children are eating 3 times a day with snacks. They're eating literally around the clock. And most children should not be eating like this. But it's almost like, it's just programmed into society, into our spirits, that children got to eat in order to grow. No. Obviously, they need to be eating for sure, and they need a certain amount, but they don't necessarily, usually when my children are with me, I feed them probably about 2 times a day. Give them a nice breakfast, maybe a snack in the middle of the day, and then they have a dinner. Like this whole lunch thing, I mean, especially right on top of breakfast. Because what ends up happening is that your children, if they're eating this way, ultimately they're going to get sick. They're going to be nauseated. They're going to and they're going to be bedridden, and basically their little young bodies are saying, "Look, please do not feed me. Let me rest. Let me rest." Children, So the thing is that I bring all that up. I say all that to say that we still eating like children. We still eating 3 times a day with snacks. Wonder why we don't have no energy, why we tired, why we exhausted, and then why we sick. And then we blame a germ. No, your system is exhausted. Your system is tired. It needs to rest. It needs to recuperate. So this is what this is how we need to when again, going back to the subject, establish, raising, and then establishing, maintaining your sensitivity. Okay, and this is how we do this. We start with making fasting a regular part of our lifestyle, regular rhythm. We talked about the 1 day a week. On top of 1 day a week, we can be on a monthly rhythm, but at the very minimum, at least a seasonal rhythm. And then in between, any day can be a fasting day. We don't need to, even if you're doing your 1 day a week, it can be 2 days a week. And it's just like, and again, it's like, fruit is food. So if you're doing fruit all day and that, and you're just eating fruit, then some days it could just be you just doing fruitarian. And I think it's really, that's really more of a place for that. I think, we start practicing that and we start, being fulfilled doing that. Obviously, we're going to be lighter. Everything is going to be working easier. And it's really kind of one tick above a fast, especially a juice fast. It's one tick in the sense that we are getting fiber, but it's like, it's very little fiber. A lot of fruits is like, 80, 90, 95, 99% water. So it's only a little bit of fiber your body has to work and break down. So again, a lot of that energy is getting transformed and getting translated into healing. So, the fruitarian diet, we are fruitarians. Under the fruitarian umbrella, it does include green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, sprouts, flowers, and the like. So, the closer we can really move in that direction, the more sensitive we are. The more healthier we are. And that's what we're talking about today. So, I think that I've made my point. If y'all have any questions, I'll stay on as long as we have some questions. But if you got questions, you can type them in. If you're on YouTube, you can type your questions in. But I wanted to finish the video kind of giving people an update on me personally, what's happening. I really wanted to share what's going on. I'm here in DC. I've been providing juice cleanses. People have been ordering, and if you're local and you've been ordering, thank you. But I've been getting a lot of calls about the food and preparing the food and offering the food. Again, being here in DC, and that's one of the things I want to mention because this has become, as we all know, I'm sure wherever you are, we've all been affected, by our political, medical landscape. I'll just say it like that. And DC is at probably the heart of regulation and mandates, and it's really made it very difficult for someone like myself to operate and without some sort of pushback or some sort of resistance. I know that everything will work out and everything is in divine design, as I like to say. So with that being said, ultimately I would, it is my plan to move. I don't feel like this is the place for me professionally. It's definitely not the place for me politically. As I feel like, as a business owner, for the last 20 years, it's been, I guess, somewhat safe and somewhat easy to not be political, to sort of, play the middle ground. But now in today's environment, that's become almost impossible. So, I just wanted to share with the family and let folks know um, that it is my plan to move. And if you've been following me on Instagram, I got hacked, so I'm on my new Instagram. My new Instagram is Dr. Kepra. That's DrKhepra. And I didn't, that was a handle that I was saving for when I was actually going to be completed with my studies, because I am in an ND PhD program as we speak. But I guess, once my Instagram got hacked, Chef Kepper got hacked. I felt like, I mean, that account is gone. So if you're following Chef Kepper, please unfollow, please report it. Someone hacked me, and I fell for, it was really my fault, because I've been asking for donations. You see the donation, the Cash App on the screen here, and I've been asking for donations. So someone had basically messaged me, said, "Oh, they'd like to donate," and I should have been leery, because they said, "Oh, they made money on Bitcoin mining." So if you've been following me, I'm down with cryptocurrency. I've invested money in cryptocurrency. But when they said mining, there should have been a red flag right there, because anyone that knows anything about Bitcoin should know that individuals don't mine. Back in the day, 10 years ago, yes, individuals mined, but now the mining of Bitcoin is done by the big boys. It takes a lot of energy and computing power to mine Bitcoin. Once upon a time, you could mine Bitcoin on your personal computer. Those days are over. So again, I fell for the okie doke, and account got hacked. So if you're on Instagram, you can follow me at Dr. Kepra, DrKhepra. I should be finished with my program, and it'd be official that I'd have my my doctor's certificate, and that's where my career is going. I like to do more writing, publish more books, and see more people on a client by client basis. However, because as a practicing astrologer, I know that part of my purpose, a big part of my purpose, is food. It's all over my chart. Being a chef was something that really came natural for me, but it was not just any food. I didn't go to chef school. I didn't, even though I always loved food, I wasn't into food just for the sake of food. I was into food. I became a chef to learn how to make healthy food. So that's part of my purpose. No matter where I go or what I do, it's going to always be about healthy food. So yes. And at the end of the day, I may remain in DC, and let me see. Let's post this. Let's show this comments. I love you in DC. I always cherish sitting down and talking with you, and will truly miss you. Well, thank you. Yes, it's gonna be bittersweet, but I'm still here, and it could be as soon as next month. I have a partner who has a place. I can't say too much right now, but there could be a possibility I'll have some food like early this spring. So stay tuned. Get your fingers crossed. We'll see. So all right, I wanted to. Was there anything else I wanted to say about that? No, that's all. That's all I'll say about that. I'll take some questions. I got a few questions here. Let's see. Are you breaking your Sunday fast with citrus juice on Monday, or is that too acidic? Okay. Now, one thing about my weekly fast, it could be just water. Most of the time is water and juice. So it's gonna be it's never gonna be just it's never gonna be or let me say this differently. It's going to be more oftentimes than not water, juice, and maybe some fruit, and that's it. And again, if it's long as we're eating, if you're eating most days and you do that one day, that's going to be almost like a modified fast. And if you do that every week, it's still a break. It's still something lighter than what your digestive system is used to doing every day. So that's a practice I've been doing for more than at least 15 years. Every Sunday, either water, and when I say water, I'm talking about just coconut water. And now for the last year and a half is I've incorporated urine. So for me now, my water is urine, coconut water, and fresh juices. Those are all waters. Let's just really define it. Those are all different forms of water. Okay. One kind of water I am not drinking is spring water. Definitely not tap water, distilled water. My water is either the water I make via the urine, or the coconut palm, or the citrus, the cucumber, the melon. I'm drinking watermelon water, orange water, grapefruit water, coconut water, etc., etc. Those are all water in my book. So that's what I'm doing. Now, the other part of this question, and this is what I love to do. The citrus juice, it can be a little rich. So the perfect complement to citrus juice is to dilute it with coconut water, and that's a in-house secret recipe. Uh, Diluting your citrus juice, whether it be orange, grapefruit, tangerine, you can do up to half, like 50% citrus, 50% coconut water. But if you want it to be a little more rich, maybe do 20% coconut water. But I say at least do 20 to 30% coconut water, the rest citrus. If you chill it, add some lime to it, fresh lime. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect because you get a smooth citrus elixir without diluting. See, when you add coconut water to any juice, it has this effect where it doesn't dilute the juice because you're adding a whole food juice in the form of coconut water. So, great question. Let's see here. What about breastfeeding mothers? Doctor told her she needs to pack on calories. Okay. When she fasts, she says her milk production goes. That is the exception. Breastfeeding women are the exception. They go by different rules. Everything that I've been talking about, it is not the time to necessarily be raising your sensitivity if you're pregnant or if you're nursing. Now, I've had women do my juice cleanse while nursing or pregnant, but what I say is that you can drink the juices and drink them throughout the day, but at least make sure you're having a meal. And you don't necessarily have to have like 2 and 3 meals a day, but you want to have at least one meal where you're getting protein and fat. because that's what we're missing when, you know, when we start fasting and raising sensitivity, is we're doing very little protein and very little fat. That's what we're giving our liver a nice rest from digesting, producing the bile in order to break down fat. You know, and then obviously, you know, digesting protein is always a big job. So when we take breaks from digesting protein, but for pregnant women, it's pregnant and nursing women should not be doing. Again, the rules change. You know, once you win your child, then you know you get your body back, because your body is not your body. Any woman who's pregnant, who's nursing, will tell you that their body is not their body. So so yes, it's a sacrifice, it's a love that you have to do for your child. You know, but it's not forever. That child will grow up and will wean and will get off, and you'll have your body back. But long as your body is not your body, you need to be feeding it, because you know you need to make again, you're making food for another person. They're totally reliant on you to feed them via the breast milk. So that breast milk need to be whole. It's not the time to be detoxing and raising sensitivity. All right. All right. Let's see. What would I recommend the best way for someone to find their balance and with how much food intake as an individual need? Well, the thing is that, you know, the first thing I'll say, you know, to this question is that, you know, we live in a society that's always trying to address what we're missing, meaning that, you know, it's all about consumption, consumption, consumption. And more often times than not, we have an abundance of everything we need. In fact, we have too much of a good thing. And that's why I always talking about, you know, I'm talking about fasting and really doing less. You know, we've been over consuming. So, you know, that's really the first way to, you know, the first thing we got to think is like, you know, because a lot of people, they say, well, I'm deficient in this and I'm deficient in this, and I need to take, you know, what can I take? What can I take? You know, and like when people get sick, it's the same thing. What more can I consume? You know, and then we gotta start thinking the opposite. Like, when, you know, it's really about how little do we need to take in, how little do we need to consume in order to maintain. Look, most of us are fully matured adults. We're not going to double in size. We don't want to increase our weight. You know, if we increase our weight, that's going to put stress on everything. It's going to put stress on our structure, our body structure, our and more importantly, our internal organs are going to have to work harder with the more weight that we have. Not to say that we're supposed to be walking around skin and bones, but there's an ideal weight for all of us. And usually, more often times than not, it was the weight that we were in high school. You know, when we were 16, 17, 18 years old, what was your weight? Especially if you were active. What size were you then? Especially for the ladies, because for the women, I know it's easy for you to put on the pounds. You know, the metabolism really slows down, especially if you had children. I get it. I know it's tough, it's hard, and the weight doesn't come off easy. All the more reason why, you know, we don't necessarily need to be thinking, you know, in terms of, you know, intake. You know, it's like, it's really about what we need to eliminate, and we really could eliminate most, if not all of it, and we really get on a rhythm. Now, as far as like, let's say, okay, you know, you did 21, 28-day, 40-day fast, right? You've basically done a complete reset of the body. You've lost all of the excess, or I should say eliminated, or what's the proper word I'm looking for? um well, you've regenerated yourself, and through that regeneration, you know, you've eliminated, you've consumed all of the excess within your body, and now you're looking to maintain. Generally speaking, again, a high, high level fruits, some greens, some nuts and seeds. That pretty much rounds it out. We're gonna get mostly everything we need. That pretty much covers the spectrum. I mean, we need to be, most of our food should be in the form of water. So that's where our fruits come in. Because most of our fruits are at least 80% water. And then of course we all understand the importance of vitamin C. Again, that's our fruits. Our fruits are loaded with vitamin C, and even our vegetables come in. Again, the moisture. When our vegetables come in, that starts to give us more protein and give us more minerals and more salt. All right. So typically, when we start thinking about what we need is like, typically if we're eating a lot of fruit, obviously we're getting a good amount of sugar, we're getting a good amount of vitamin C, we're getting a good amount of moisture. But if you're just eating fruit, obviously you're going to probably run into some deficiencies, and then in the deficiencies, usually green leafy vegetables. Now if you're concerned about especially if you're not doing a lot of organic, or if you're not growing your own food or getting from farmers markets, is there a place for a supplement or something that it provides? And supplements are tricky. I'm not really a big fan of supplements and supplementation. I say really try to do the best with your food that's in a whole natural form that nature gives to you. When we're talking about supplements, we're talking about derivatives of foods that have been extracted, that have gone through a process that has, that really can be toxic, putting it into the body. So I'm not a big fan of supplements. A couple of months ago, I did do a video. If there's any one supplement that is, I may consider, or I may recommend, is enzymes. Again, everything, and the reason is because we need enzymes for everything, not just digestion. All healing, all processes, me talking right now is all because of enzymatic activity. So if we're eating cooked food, again, you're depleting your life force. Because if you're eating food that doesn't have its own enzymes, your body has to use metabolic enzymes. We only get a certain amount of metabolic enzymes in a lifetime. So if there's anything, and I know, I've heard like long-time raw foodists taking supplemental enzymes, and they can even swear by them. So again, a lot of minerals and things of that nature. And I want to say this too about minerals, because don't be so quick and so sold on taking mineral supplementation. Most of the minerals that our body needs, if we happen to be deficient in them, it's usually because our body is having difficulty processing what we're eating. And what we're eating, whether it be good and whole and fresh and raw or not, if our body has difficulty processing those foods, our body's not going to access the minerals that it needs from that food. And why is it having difficulty? Because it's tired, it's overworked, we've been over consuming for a lifetime. So in large part, people are not deficient, they're just not able to efficiently process and digest food. That's the problem more oftentimes than not. So that was a mouthful. I hope that you I'm pretty sure I answered that question. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions. Can my wife pass my breastfeeding? Okay, yeah, so we answered this question about breastfeeding. Yes, we answered that question. Um, Another question here: do you supplement B12? They say raw food eaters should. Uh, no, I don't supplement with B12. Um, B12 is B12 is largely a result of the fact that we're almost too hygienic. B12 is essentially dirt, and we overwash. I mean, we're almost too clean. You know, we don't farm. We don't get out there in the dirt because ideally we should be growing our food, getting our hands dirty, touching the earth, getting that electrical charge, and just basically, that's B12. That's that. This is healthy. Food. I mean, food probably gets washed when it's picked. Then we wash it when we bring it in, and then sterilize it. It's like we're washing away healthy stuff. So ideally, I'm not saying that we should just not wash your produce. I'm not saying that, but if you're growing your food, you definitely do not wash your food. That's really the issue with B12. Also, B12 is a problem. The other problem with B12 is the fact that a lot of people are getting B12 that have issues with having being B12 deficient is the fact that, like, because we know that they say, oh, you got to eat meat products to get B12, but the problem with that is that that's going to create other issues. So if you're eating clean and you're detoxing regularly, having a B12 deficiency should not be an issue. The other thing, if anything, I've talked about urine therapy. I just don't see any deficiency or anything that the urine cannot cure or cannot remedy. Let me say it like that. Um, so, and because that was another question. Actually, I mentioned the urine. And people want to people. It just really starts to really take over. So that's good. Can you explain how urine therapy has helped me personally? Well, there's a whole video I have on it. So after you finish watching this, you can go to my video on YouTube. It's better than coconut water, and I talk about my whole experience. I'll just say a few things. The first day, and when I say the first day I drunk my whole first morning urine. There was just a feeling of bliss. I had just this giddy, just happy, like just amazing feeling, and it was just like, and I was actually speaking to a former employee of mine. If you're listening, you probably know who you are. She's in Hawaii right now. We had a good conversation, and we were talking about urine therapy, and she was telling me how it was these MMA fighters that was like telling her that they were doing it and how excited they were about doing it, and I began to explain how I feel like as human beings we subconsciously create things that we feel that we should connect with. So with saying that, the thing is, like, one of the things that is, like, big in our culture obviously is alcohol, and especially if we look at something like beer. I feel like beer was almost a subconscious creation, because I have become convinced that not only urine is not waste. That's the first thing I always say: urine is not waste. But we urinate first and foremost to re-ingest it. The first and foremost purpose of urinating is to re-ingest it. I didn't read that anywhere. That's my own personal download that I got, because one of the other early things that I came upon, almost a message, like whether it's internal, but it was just a message to me that once I began to really get into doing urine therapy, I realized that the food that we eat, whether it be fresh fruits, our ideal foods and all that, these are things that are not a part of us. It's very similar to the science and art of breastfeeding. We know that newborn babies, they can't eat regular food. The ideal food is the breast milk, but the breast milk has to be fed. So in the same way, just like a newborn baby has to take in breast milk that's made, the mother eats food and drinks to produce the ideal food that's in an ideal form for that baby. Now, when we eat, so it's almost like when we urinate, we're producing the breast milk for us. That is our breast milk. When I drink coconut water and I eat all my fresh grapefruits and wonderful fruits, that food is not a part of me. That food is foreign to me. But when I take it and now I make it, because what is the urine? The urine is part of the blood. What the kidneys do is take the excess water. It's not waste. It's excess water in the blood for the purposes of re-ingestion. That's what the urine is. And that's why the urine is the cure-all. It basically, because now all those things, all those wonderful foods and fruits and vegetables that I eat, now when I'm taking them in the form of my urine, I made the urine. It's familiar. It's something that my body can now, it's like, oh, yes, this came from you, from me. And now it's in a form that my body, it says, oh, I know exactly what to do with this. And there's something magical about the urine. There's some magic attached to it, that whatever problem is going on with you, one of my customers came and asked me about some knee pain they were having. I started talking about urine therapy, and they started doing it. They said, I'm gonna try it. And they came back and said, my knee's been feeling good, but I've noticed that it started healing my hernia. My hernia is closing. And I said, wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. Like, I mean, I don't think there's a quote unquote cure for hernias. I know that if you go to your doctor, they're going to go in and they're going to sew it up. So, and it was something that they had for 7-8 years. They just lived with it. And now, drinking the urine. So for me personally, it's just been, amazing. It's raised my sensitivity. The whole topic of this is about raising our sensitivity. So it's raised my sensitivity. So it's raised my level of health. I remember when I first started eating it, obviously foods that are very stimulating are, salty foods that, salty, that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love salt. And then hot. I love hot foods. I love spicy pepper, as a chef. And I got to tell you, when I started drinking urine, like my palate changed. I didn't need the hot and I didn't need the salt as much. So I feel like alcohol is a human creation, is a subconscious creation to say, you know what, it's almost like a desire to drink urine. but we're gonna create it because, and then what you know, think about what alcohol does. It makes us feel good. It makes us, you know, relaxed, and you know, gives us, you know, all of these feelings. Obviously, it destroys your liver in the process, and the fact that the urine does just the opposite. I mean, it's almost like, you know, people call it the longevity and, you know, the healing and all of that. So, so yeah. So that's what that's done. I can go on, but yeah, check out my video, Better Than Coconut Water. Yeah, so I'll leave it there. Yeah, it's been an hour, so I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Just like the video, share it, you know, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Just wanted to say all those things. Again, check out my my website if you're local. You know, I'm doing juice cleanses and just here. So I will see y'all next week, either next Wednesday or next Thursday. And peace and love and blessings. If you checking this video out after the fact, just comment below and I'll respond. And if anything, I'll see y'all next week. Peace.